Start the intro. For fuck's sake. We're doing this again. We're doing this whole SJW bullshit again. We're not learning from our mistakes. We're not learning from the examples of everybody else. You know, I could just about tolerate the fact that when Bree took the role, there was all this, a woman's coming to save the day, she's going to kill Thanos, and make all of these characters redundant. I could just about get past that, because it just seemed like, oh, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, I'd like to point out that this isn't just me having a go at Bree, this is also me having a go at all the websites defending what she said. I have no problem with feminists. I like the idea of equal rights for women, and I've said so in a previous video, because we've been here before. When the Ocean's 8 cast, particularly Cate Blanchett and Anne Hathaway, turned around and tried to say that the Ghostbusters film from 2016 was a failure commercially because of white men. And I took offense to that, and I still do. Because, no, it was a terrible movie. It doesn't matter if it's a woman, a man, or a fucking horse cast in the roles, it was terrible. So we've been here before, you and I. We've been here before, and I have made my feelings about modern feminists versus feminazis known. And one thing I cannot stand is when some bullshit person steps up to the plate to bat for the women's side, so to speak. I'm looking at you, Kathleen Kennedy, thinking you've got the world by the balls because of the property that you possess, that you're part of. And just trying to be like, well, we don't make movies for men anymore. I mean, this isn't for men. That movie wasn't for men. When people say, like, modern feminism is being held back by the white male racist agenda, I have to question, what point does this become hypocrisy? If you're pointing out that white males are the problem, are you not being racist? If you're turning around and saying, my movie wasn't for white males in their 40s, that's racist and sexist. Oh, and a big to Screen Rant as well for trying to turn around and say, like, well, it's just the movie's being sabotaged by trolls and sexists. Are you serious right now? How is this comment by Bree anything other than sexist and racist? And don't give me the taking it out of context thing. No, this is exactly how it is quoted. I don't need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what it meant to women of color, biracial women, teen women of color. What is that if not sexist and racist? I don't want to know what a white man thinks. How can you defend that? If I turn that around, I mean, I have never paid enough attention to the colors and genders of characters in movies to come up with a good example here. But if I turned around and said, oh, no, that movie wasn't made for 40-year-old black women, they would crucify me. I'd be a social pariah. They would nail me to the cross and set me on fire. The hypocrisy of it all makes my stomach hurt. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. How can you defend this? And you, Screen Rant, what a sellout. Be truthful. Tell it like it is. Maybe she isn't getting her opinion across properly, or maybe she misspoke. I don't care. The fact is, she said it. And when she was given an opportunity to apologize for this completely unacceptable comment, she backtracked. She tried to retcon, but not apologize, retcon, and say, I wasn't taking chairs away from the table. I'm just making sure there's more chairs. No, that's exactly what you did. There's no misconstruing of information. There's no misquote. There's no taking out of context here. You're taking the chair away from the 40-year-old white man. Like, even if this table is just for A Wrinkle in Time, he deserves the same respect as you and anybody else. I am not a 40-year-old white man. I'm hoping that's pretty obvious. But I am so upset that comment is not only accepted, but defended. When, if it had been the other way around, there would have been friggin' outpouring of protest, and it would have been unacceptable. How is this not unacceptable? How is this fair? How is this equal? Let's talk about inclusion and exclusion for a moment. You want to include the views and values and general presence of the people you choose, and you want to omit the people that you don't agree with and render their verdicts and opinions null and void and treat them in a different class. They had a word for this. Oh, it's called racism. Yeah, that's what racism is. People will immediately look to the swastikas or slavery of the past, but racism, as a definition, is what I've just described. You're literally singling people out and saying, no, but everybody else can come in. And when you get websites that come out and call the people who are offended and have genuine reason to be offended, you call them sexist and trolls. And maybe they are trolling. Maybe it's not okay to just go and attack Rotten Tomatoes, who incidentally, the want to see percentage for Captain Marvel is now at this time 41%. And some of the things on these websites that I've read, they're taking things completely out of context just to blow things out of proportion. They're just being childish. They're just acting like their feelings are hurt so that they can have a say. They're not actually offended. They just want to be offended. But some of these other articles talk about how these men, these misogynistic bigots, they need to toughen up. Are you serious? If we said that about the feminazis whose feelings were hurt that Ghostbusters 2016 didn't do very well, we said that they just needed to toughen up, they would crucify us. This is such a one-way street. There's feminists who want equal rights and more opportunities for women, and then there's feminazis who want power to the women, crush the men, and it's a fact. And what's really interesting is that so many of the videos that I've been watching on YouTube regarding this, because I've been specifically trying to see women perspective on what this all means. And I haven't actually seen a video from a woman on YouTube that is pro any of this. I've seen a lot of people saying it's stupid. You can take the role of a powerful superheroine and just be a great character. Look at Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot didn't deal with this because she didn't step into the light and go, oh, it's good to see a powerful female character. That's the difference. And you know what? Her movie was great. Her character was great. She was great. Now, Brie, you have an uphill battle. Those white males that you have blatantly alienated, the majority of the people who are going to go see the movie are male because it's a superhero movie. These feminists that you support so much, these feminazis that you support so much, they're not going to go see your movie. They're not going to give you money. There's a great joke running around on YouTube at the moment where everyone says like, oh, I'll still see Captain Marvel, but I'm going to pay to see Alita and then sneak into Marvel. This is what happens when you get a great actress like Brie Larson who's proven her talents. When she thinks she's got man by the balls by stepping into a role of a very powerful comic book character in an already 10-year developed world where she's going to come in and most likely save the day and be the face of Avengers movies from now on, this is what happens when that person takes this and sees it as an opportunity to spread political agenda. The only thing you're going to do is piss off the audience. And the joke, like, well, this movie's not for me, Brie Larson said so. I get it. It doesn't pertain to Captain Marvel because specifically she was referring to A Wrinkle in Time. But I get it. I do feel like this has hurt my feelings. I'm not a 40-year-old white man. I'm not directly insulted by this, but I feel for the fact that anyone is being isolated. If I saw a film come out saying it's not for black people, I'd be offended for them too. If it's not for women, I'd be offended for them too. They can decide what they like. Love what you love, and then you will love it so much more. That is my motto. It's plastered on my fucking YouTube banner. What Brie has said is sexist and racist. Did she mean it to be? Of course not. And the people who say you can't be racist towards white men, congratulations. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said. You can read articles about women who became men, hoping to see all that white male privilege, and saw nothing. In fact, found it harder because they were always up against it because they can't open their mouth or they're sexist or fascist or any other variation of fucking discrimination. I've gone off on a crazy rant at this point, but I'm angry. And I'm worried. I was already worried that all these great characters that we've had for the last 10 years that started coming out when I was still a teenager, they're just going to be snuffed out and replaced with this really overpowered character who may have a really good movie. Captain Marvel might be a fantastic movie. The screenings have been positive. Everyone says it's a really good movie. But now I don't know if I can watch this film. I mean, we'll still see it, because I still believe that I want to know more about the character. And I know now that I'm going to see Brie, and I'm going to hear these comments in the back of my head and think, you're a sexist and a racist, I don't like you. I'm going to think that way when I'm watching the film, no matter how good she is. And I'm sure she's going to be great. She's a talented actress, and I hate when I'm forced to feel like this. Because we pay money to be entertained. Why am I paying money to have a political agenda shoved in my face? If you just treat everybody equal, then this, obviously there's some kinks to work out, and still, women's rights do need ironing out, and there's a lot more to be done there, and I support feminists. But people need to be treated equally outside of women as well. White men should have the same rights. I should have just as much right to criticize Wrinkle in Time as she does. Now, a lot of people are going to say this has been taken out of context. Here's an example of something being taken out of context. You watch a Holocaust movie where a very famous actor says, "I hate Jews." You then take that quote and you put it to the actor and say, "This actor hates Jews." That's something being taken out of context. This is a quote, a direct quote, that she didn't even apologize for. She just kind of, no, I didn't mean that. Own up to the fact that you screwed up. That's what you need to do, Brie. This feminazi thing, this political agenda being shoved into my face when I'm going to the cinema with my bag of popcorn and my giant Pepsi, and I'm like, yeah, let's watch a movie. I don't want this. Leave this at home. Leave this on the internet. I don't want to read this. I don't want to hear about this. This is stupid. When you see a woman fighting for equal rights, tell me about that. Show me that. When you see a woman fighting to crush men into the ground and make women all powerful and all controlling, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know you. And this is tough for me to say, because I support the idea of feminism, and I have to constantly iterate which feminism I'm referring to. The lines are blurred now. There's no way to tell for the uninitiated what feminism and feminazism is. What's the difference? The uninitiated, new young kids seeing Facebook, seeing social media and all that for the first time, they're not going to know the difference. And there's a big difference. This hurts my feelings. And it makes me not want to support you. You've seen the evidence. Call it trolls, call it sexism if you will, but the fact is they're upset. And they're your viewer demographic. So you think about that. Sorry this turned into such a rant, you guys. I had to get that off my chest. I'm sure it's going to blow over. I'm sure it's not really what she meant to say, and I'm sure she's not really trying to be so careless and stupid in these comments. But when you're in the face of the public like that, you cannot say these things. You cannot say these things and then not apologize for it. If she apologizes for it, people will back off. What they don't realize these days is so many of the things that people get offended for on the internet, if you apologize for it, you get a lot of respect back, because apologizing publicly it takes a lot. But if you do it, you may not win everybody back. No. In fact, I guarantee you won't. But if you apologize, you will win back a lot of respect, because it takes a lot to admit when you screwed up, especially when you're speaking to so many people. So, Brie, if for some reason you ever see this video, just say sorry. Because you've offended a lot of people. You've put the MCU in a perilous position, and you've brought to light what's wrong with the feminist agenda in modern film. And it's not right. It doesn't help anybody. It just leads to more anger and more pain and more misunderstanding and more information, important information and values, life values being misconstrued to serve an agenda. And it's wrong. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, tear that like button limb from limb. And if you want to be among the first to be notified of new content on the channel, go ahead and slam that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'm currently working on 3 video game reviews at the moment. One for Metro, one for Anthem, and a re-review for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is now going to have to come out after the arrival of Anakin. I know I said I was going to try and do it beforehand, but it just got out of control. So hopefully I will see you guys on those reviews. I'm putting a lot of effort into them. There's been so much work to do. There's just been too many games to play, too many movies to talk about. It's just overwhelming sometimes, and it is fantastic. I love doing this. So yeah, I will see you guys next time.